the show begin. Next generation for the win. We're going all in. All together now, let's begin. Let the show begin.
So people want to feel, not just see. I decided that I wanted to give a bit of an obtuse answer to this and start with first principles. I wanted to ask, why do we travel? I've sort of dedicated my life to travel in many ways, although not in the traditional sense. You know that song, I've been to paradise, but I've never been to me? I'm kind of the opposite. As a teenager, I used to watch like 20 over movies a week. I was addicted to how they made me, or how they transported me. The high would stay with me for days. And I just couldn't get enough. I was that soul cinema goer watching Cinema Paradiso or Amelie, crying. It was cathartic. What kind of magic was this? I was also hooked on a medical drama early on called Sent Elsewhere. And by the end of the first season, I knew that I wanted to become a doctor. And so I was. I became one. It wasn't quite as glamorous as in the dramas, but I witnessed some amazing things. I got to witness people on their first breath and their last. And it was there that I learned that it was terribly, terribly hard for the human spirit to let go. We always want more, but more of what? I also learned that when babies first come out, I delivered quite a few, they're incredibly silent. They're just taking everything in, looking, seeing, feeling this world for the first time. What an amazing expansion of the mind, millions of connections being made for the first time. We spend the rest of our lives chasing that high, I think. And I used to have this little private moment with the baby. I used to say to it, you know, this moment is your moment of greatest potential. From now on, it's kind of downhill, so choose carefully. I hadn't chosen that carefully because I realized that I shouldn't have become the doctor in Sent Elsewhere. I should have become the actors playing the doctors. That way I could play a myriad of parts. And so I decided to go to drama school instead. And to put myself through, I did house calls for the rich in North Sydney. And I used to drive down these rows of mansions, and I noticed something really peculiar. Every second or third house, there'd be a figure standing at the front gates. And when I visited some of them, I realized that they were these frail old men staring out at the road, waiting. But waiting for what? This occurred to me on a recent trip in Mongolia when we stayed in these yurts. The yurts, of course, have really thin walls, and you can hear any child playing outside. And whenever my shy, introverted son heard that, he would say, "Dad, can I play outside too?" And I said, "Of course." And I realized even when children play outside in parallel as they do at a certain age, they want to be together. At the end of the trip, I asked my son what he thought of the whole trip. We'd seen eagles, rode on horses, rode camels. We'd seen the Milky Way plastered on the Mongolian sky. He said, without the other kids, it would have been horrible. With the other kids, it was the most amazing trip he'd ever had. And we got messages from 6 other parents saying their kids said the exact same thing. And I realized then that those kids and the men standing at their gates were all yearning for the same thing, to make memories through emotional connection with people. But it was more than just emotional connection, it was the stories and the moments within them. So, straight out of drama school, I got this wonderful opportunity when my agent said to me, "Hey, they want you to be a Power Ranger. It's this B-grade TV show for kids. Do you want to do it?" And I said, hell yeah. That was 20 years ago. And just last month, I went to my first Power Ranger convention. They have these. And I kid you not, over 3 days, about 1,000 people came to me telling me how I'd somehow changed their life. Some of these people had learning and emotional difficulties growing up. Parents came to me, a couple of mothers teared up saying how when they discovered Power Rangers, it kept their family together. How a simple message from me on Facebook got someone through suicidal depression. That's when I realized, not only was I really humbled, but I realized that powerful stories stay with you forever. This wasn't just a TV show for kids. In fact, beautiful moments, emotional moments, whether through story or life, get repeated through memory. And if you want to be rich, make good memories. which is what I decided to do. Instead of taking jobs for career trajectory or riches, I chose for adventure, and I turned down a TV show so that I could go to the Beijing Olympics and be a reporter. But my ROI was watching Zhang Yimou's opening ceremony along with millions of other people that looked like me. And having grown up in Australia, that was a homecoming like I'd never felt before. I am Chinese after all. It was life-changing for me. These sorts of experiences, they give meaning to life. That transcendent feeling, that makes you feel like your everyday toil matters in the deeper scheme of things. So I kind of believe that we travel to know we're not alone. But Joseph Campbell says it even better. He says, the best things in life cannot be told because they transcend thought. The second best are misunderstood because they're the thoughts that refer to that which cannot be thought about. And the third best are what we talk about, stories. And the very best stories, from cave paintings to audio tours to opening ceremonies, they transform, they transcend, they create emotive experiences, and those emotions turn into powerful memories. And we are essentially just a sum of all our memories. And without them, we become a shell. So I believe we feel, or we travel to feel and remember. And I feel like most trips fall far short of that. That's why we're kind of betting our company on trying to create emotive experiences that elicit powerful memories. Why, you might ask? Because emotional connection leads to repeat visits. Emotional engagement leads to respect of people, place, and culture. And emotional travel is transformative for people, and that's the best value add we could ever give. It's clear that people want to feel, not just see, but how do we create these sort of experiences that allow people to connect beyond the physical? Instead of just telling you, I want to show you through a story that was written in 1855 by Chief Seattle. It's more valid now than ever, and it also demonstrates to us what we should at least start with, why we should do it, and how. And it goes a little bit like this. This is his letter. The president in Washington sends word that he wishes to buy our land. But how can you buy the sky, the land? This idea is strange to us. Every part of the earth is sacred to my people. Every shining pine needle, every sandy shore, every mist in the dark woods. The perfumed flowers are our sisters. The bear, the deer, the great eagle, these are our brothers. Each ghostly reflection in the clear waters of the lakes tells of events and memories in the life of my people. The water's murmur is the voice of my father's father. The rivers are our brothers. They carry our canoes and feed our children. The wind that gave our grandfather his first breath also received his last sigh. This we know, the earth does not belong to man, man belongs to the earth. Man did not weave the web of life, he is merely a strand in it. Whatever he does to the web, he does to himself. Your destiny is a mystery to us. What will happen when the buffalo are all slaughtered? What will happen when the secret corners of the forest are heavy with the scent of many men? The end of living and the beginning of survival. When the last red man has vanished with this wilderness and his memory is only the shadow of a cloud moving across the prairie, will these shores and forests still be here? Will there be any spirit of my people left? We love this earth as a newborn loves its mother's heartbeat. So if we sell you our land, love it as we have loved it, care for it as we have cared for it, hold in your mind the memory of the land as it is when you receive it. Preserve the land for all children and love it as God loves us all. One thing we know, there is only one God. No man, be he red man or white man, can be apart. We are all brothers after all. I hope that inspires at least some of you to help tell stories and create experiences that help people connect to the places that we're merely visitors of. Thank you.
They're ready now. Let the show begin. Next generation for the win. We're going all in. Center stage now, let's begin.